Our verse for today is one that many times when you're reading through the Bible, you can just read past a verse like this and think, well, this doesn't have anything to teach me or to tell me. And it's verse 23, and it's towards the end of the letter. It's part of the sign-off of Paul's letter where he says, Epaphras, my fellow prisoner in Christ Jesus, sends greetings to you. And so do Mark, Aristarchus, Demas, and Luke, my fellow workers. So do you think they make t-shirts with that Bible verse on it, bumper stickers? Probably not. But what does it tell us? Well, it tells us a couple important things. First of all, as we've mentioned earlier in going through the letters of Paul, and remember this is the final letter of Paul that we'll be talking about, Paul never did ministry alone. He was always a part of a team. And we have a team here at BBC, and if you're watching at a distance, hopefully your church, right? There's no solo actors. There's no church should expect a pastor or any one person to do everything. Paul's a part of a team. That's the first thing. Secondly, we know he's not alone in his imprisonment, which is a blessing. He's got Epaphras there with him. And seemingly connecting with them, which is why we think they're probably under house arrest, we hear about Mark. Now you remember John Mark? What was his story? He was the one who, when he left an early missionary journey, caused the split between Barnabas and Saul. Barnabas had been the one who took Paul under his wing and spoke on his behalf and mentored him, and they ministered together. But when they took John Mark with them on a mission trip and he left for some reason we still don't know, Paul didn't trust him, wasn't going to take him back again. But Barnabas wouldn't give up on John Mark, who was a relative of his, a younger relative, and so Paul takes Silas, Barnabas takes John Mark, and Barnabas mentors that young man and pours into him, and the circle comes back around. And Paul and Mark are reunited, they're reconciled, and Mark is working with him and part of his ministry team. So that tells you a lot, just in the inclusion of Mark's name in this list, of how reconciliation can take place and people can still do ministry and serve together even when they've had a disagreement or a conflict. We also hear about Aristarchus and Demas and Luke. And remember, Luke not only wrote his gospel, but wrote the book of Acts, which tells us so much about the Apostle Paul. And Luke was part of, we believe, part of that missionary journey that we hear about in one section of the book of Acts. So Paul was part of a team. All these different people have a connection to him for one reason or another. And I would just encourage you to remember, no one goes it alone. We all need other people in our life to help us, support us, encourage us, who we can support and encourage and help as well. We're not meant to go through life on this earth as a solo act. We are part of an ensemble. We're part of a team. And I hope you can identify some people in your life, and I hope you can also identify the people for whom you are part of encouraging and working with them to accomplish great things.